Here I'm going to break down some basic movement patterns and what we should expect to see at the pelvis and at the spine. So I'm going to demonstrate a few different ones here. So my first movement, I'm just going to do a deep squat, and we're going to watch the position of my pelvis, my low back, and just the spine in general. So let's say, my starting conditions, I have anterior orientation when I'm standing, resting. I have a pretty deep arch in the low back, pelvis is tilted forward, which is a strategy to put force into the ground. So not a bad thing, but we want to be aware of it, and we want to be aware that it can take away movement options. So one thing I can do to reduce that is just externally move into a wider stance, so the femurs are a little more externally rotated. That puts my pelvis more into an externally rotated position, so I'm not as internally rotated and tilted down, because internal rotation is down force. So anyway, let's get into the deep squat. So if I just start from my basic starting conditions, so right here, anteriorly oriented, and I just drop down, my pelvis likes to, since I'm starting in anterior orientation, I don't get much relative motion between the sacrum and the innominate bones. So I'm starting in this forward-oriented position, and then I drop down and the pelvis orients downward as a whole. Now I may get some relative motion, but from what I notice, when I do this other variation, I get much more relative motion between those bones. So let's do this another way. So I bend the knees a little. That puts me in a little more ER in my femurs. And then I'm going to reach down towards my toes. And now I'm getting relative motion, and then I drop into a deep squat right there. And now I used all relative motion to get there. And that's a good way to kind of build your way back into getting a better deep squat.